Hello, 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 hello. How are you? This is Els coming to you from Bima's Crafty Corner, and this is the first part of our free class on the Traveler's Notebook. So there's pretty much one thing that everybody can agree on with a Traveler's Notebook, and that's that it has inserts. But when it comes to the rest of it, it's kind of well, it is a debate on what's the best cover. Is it a laminated paper cover? Is it a fabric cover? Is it a faux leather cover? Is it a double-sided layered fabric cover? There's about 1,000 ways to do a cover. So I thought we'd start with the easy part. We're going to learn how to do some of the inserts first. And then we'll move on to making some covers. And I'm going to do a couple of covers just so you guys can, choose the one you want. So I like to use a heavyweight craft paper when I'm doing this because I like that look. Okay. If you want to use double-sided cardstock so that you don't have to decorate, that's fine. But I will be giving you the measurements and everything and the mats for it as well in the video. So I'm going to get out everything that we need to start because we're going to be starting with our pockets, our inserts first. So I am going to get out everything that we need for these and give you a supply list, and I will be right back, okay? Hold on. All right, supply list for the inserts. Adhesive. Now, I like to have both 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch double-sided tape and glue. You're going to want a ruler, scissors, scoreboard, scoring tools, a paper trimmer. I like to start with 12 by 12 cardstock, but you can use whatever you want, and a scoreboard. Okay, so we're going to get started doing the first cuts and everything and the first scores and all that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the extra paper. We're going to get the first part, the first one done. I'm going to get rid of the extra paper, and we're going to get started cutting this down. Remember, all of the cut dimensions will be in the description box below. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and move some stuff out of the way and get the trimmer set up, and we're going to make some cuts on the paper. I'll be right back. Okay, so a standard traveler's notebook is 8 1/4 inches high, 4 1/4 inches wide. So your inserts should be slightly smaller, so they're going to be 8 by 4. Okay, so this is kind of our map, So I'm going to take one piece of my paper and I'm going to cut it to 8 inches wide. Okay. And the reason I'm cutting it to 8 inches wide is because when I fold it in half, it'll be 4 inches. Now, if you want to put like a little lip on the end to make it a little thicker, just cut it a 1/2 inch wider and put a 1/4 inch on either side. And then it has to be 8 inches tall, and I want to put some pockets on it. So I'm actually going to cut this down to 11 inches. I'm just going to take an inch off the bottom, just 1 inch. Okay, and then I'm going to put this into my scoreboard. So the first thing I'm going to do is come in and I'm going to put a score at 4 inches. Do not press. Don't jam into this. Just lightly score it. Okay? A couple, 4 or 5 times. All right? Then we're going to turn this. And remember, we want this to be 8 inches. So we're going to come to the 8 inch and we're going to go ahead and score it here as well. And then I'm going to turn this over and I'm going to score it on the other side. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to really break down this bit of fiber, okay? Because these are going to be my pockets. All right, now we're going to go ahead and start folding. Wherever there's a valley, turn it into a hill, okay? So we're just going to fold this one in half. We're going to fold this up. Make sure we get it nice and straight. Now, if we folded this just like this, it does this weird stuff, so we're going to get rid of that. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to get this scoreboard out of the way real quick. We're going to use our ruler and a pencil. And we're going to put our ruler so that our midline, if you have one of these ones that does the midline thing, is on our fold. If you don't have one that has a midline, just fold it in half. Just fold it in half. And you're just going to come out 3/4 of an inch. Put a little mark right there. Turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. And then you're going to take your ruler and you're going to go from this point where your fold is right here to where you put that mark. Okay. You can put it on both sides, you can put it on one side, it's entirely up to you. And then you're going to cut that off. And what that's going to do is create those pockets, okay? So that's the first part of this. Now, if you want to round corners, you can do that now. I don't really see the reason for that, but you know, if you want to, you can. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit of our scrap, and you can use that piece that you cut off the bottom because it's the right width, and we're just going to score it straight down the center. And this doesn't have to be perfect. Just nice light score. A couple, 2 or 3 times. Again, wherever there's a valley, I'm going to turn that into a hill. And that will help keep the paper from cracking. And I'm going to use this on the sides here to close this part up. So I want to have a measurement of how big this pocket is, which is just a hair under 3 inches. So I'm going to do this probably at about 2 1/4. And I'm going to cut 2 pieces at 2 1/4, 2 3/4, excuse me. So we'll do 2 3/4. 2 3/4. And I'm going to use these to close my pockets up, okay? I'll be putting those in there. So at this point, if you want to decorate this and dress it up a little bit, you're going to be putting your mats on. So what I would do is I take it and I measure from the top to the line, which is 8 inches, and then I take 1/4 of an inch off, so 7 3/4 by, from the center line out, which is 4 inches, so 3 3/4. And I know I need 4 pieces that are that size. And then I'm going to need my little pieces here. For this, I'm going to cut to the full size. So it's going to be 3 3/4 by 2 5/8. Okay, and I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are that size. So I'm going to go and cut some pieces, and then I will be back and I'm going to show you how to put the mats on, and then we're going to talk about you know, the next one, because we're going to make actually 3 of these. Okay, so go ahead and cut your pieces, and I'll be right back. All right, so I have pieces and parts cut, and I want to talk about the pieces that go right here, because obviously, since we did this, we can't do a straight cut. So I'm going to just use these, and they're double-sided, white on one side and printed on the other, so that you guys can see what I'm doing. And basically, we want to put this on the back and give ourselves about twice the distance on this end. Fold that up and just draw a line. Okay, and then we just take our 2 pieces and put them with the right sides both facing out. Line them up, put them in your trimmer, and you just want to trim on that line. Okay, and now your pieces will fit on here exactly where you want them to be. Okay, and if you get any pencil on here, just erase it, no big deal. Okay, all right, and so we're going to go ahead and if you want to ink, you should do that now, and we're going to start gluing down our pieces. If you want to round corners, now would be the time to do that. You can round the top and the bottom corner here. Rounding the corner here you can do, or you can use a circle hole punch to put a hole up here. Okay, I'm going to round corners. Now this can be a little bit tough down here. So what I do is I use my bone folder just to press it really tight, and then it'll typically go in there. You may have to work it a little bit. And of course this outside corner you can do one at a time. Okay, so since I have rounded these, I am going to be rounding the corners on my mats. This is a printable. I really couldn't find, you know, one I liked. We'll talk about that too. So my mats will go in here, one over here, and so on and so forth. If you're going to ink, now would be the time to do so. Let me get the ones that actually go on the inside here. There. And then these just need to be the one corner at the bottom. Okay. Now, paper. Now you can get a printable if you want to. Do this with a digital. You can do this with anything that you want. This is Imagine from Graphic 45. It's a nice choice. This one is a travel set. This is called Transatlantic Travel. This is from Echo Park. You know, it's nice. This comes with, it's got stickers, it's got some cards, it's got papers. So, you know, this is a good choice if, you know, you're doing something travel related. I also have this travel log pad. It just didn't work with my cover. So I went this way. And this is just a digital. Okay. So I'm going to ink all my stuff and I'm going to glue it all in. Right sides going in the right direction. And so I'm going to glue here. I'm going to glue these pieces here. And I'm going to be gluing pieces on the outside. Okay, so once I have that all done, I will be back. I'm going to ink everything in glue, and then I'll be back and we'll talk about putting the pockets together and all of that. Okay, so I'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, so I have all of this inked up, and I still have these two little pieces. So don't forget to ink that. Okay, and you just need to ink it on the fold, both sides. Just like that, just the outside of the fold, okay? You don't have to do the inside, just the outside of the fold. And then we're gonna do a little teeny trim right here. From the fold to the open end, from the corner, just take a little nip off both sides. Okay. And we're just going to set those to the side. Really time to replace my pad, I think. All right, so first things first, we're going to get these glued down. Now you could use tape here if you want to, because this isn't really a stress area. But, you know, I like glue. Now, as I said, this is a digital. I used a 28-pound paper, and that makes it a little thicker and more like scrapbook paper. So I'm going to make sure that I have my paper going in the right direction. Put this down. And then you can use your bone folder or a brayer or whatever. Just kind of make sure that you get it nice and flat. I'll do the other side, and then we're going to work on the pockets, okay? Now, some of the other inserts we're going to be doing for this, I'm going to show you how to make an envelope, like a pocket envelope. And we're also going to be doing, I'll show you how to do a pad, if you want to put a pad in here. Or notebook, your choice, either one or both, you know, totally up to you. Okay. All right, so I have both of those down. Let me get these down. Okay, and the other side. Go. All right. So we'll do the outside in a second. Let's do the inside pockets here. Now, if you have watched my channel at all, you know all about the way that I put the pockets in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some double-sided sticky tape, and this is going to go right up by that fold line. Okay? And I'm going to be putting this on both sides. This is 1/8 inch. It's very narrow tape. And I use the tape here just to kind of hold this in place while I'm actually waiting for the glue to adhere. Okay. There. Go. Now, you want to use your bone folder to press that tape down. It just helps it to release better. I don't know why, but it should look like this. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put some glue here, glue there. We're going to do one side at a time. Okay, so I'm going to put some glue here. I'm going to take the backing off the tape, but not all of it, just a little bit, okay? Because we have to use that. So I'm going to put this right up against the outside edge, the fold up against the outside edge. Take off that backing, and I'm going to open this up and press it down with my bone folder. Okay, and I want that nice and flush to that edge. And then I'm going to put some glue on the top. Again, I'm going to make a little flag. This is the hard part. Get a pokey tool. Here we go. Okay, pull this out just a little bit. I'm going to bring this up so you guys can see. So what I do is I pull this part of the tape back just a little bit. Okay, and then make sure my glue is still good. I'm going to fold this in, and once I have it down, then I just use that flag to remove the rest of the tape, and I press it down with my bone folder. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other side, and then I'm going to put my paper on the outside of this and clear this, and I'll be back, and we'll get started on the next pocket. Okay, so I'll be back in just a few minutes. All right, so for the next piece, we're going to cut a a piece that is 11 by 8. So 11, we're going to keep that, and then we're going to cut this down to 8 inches wide. And we're going to do a little bit of scoring here. So 8 by 11 and a 1-inch strip. So let's get the 1-inch strip out of the way. This again is just going to be used as a gusset. So we're just going to score this at the 1/2 inch 3-4 times, nice and easy. Hill becomes valley, valley becomes hill. We're going to set that to the side. Then we're going to take our piece that is 11 by 8, and we're going to go at 3 and 3 1/4. And then 7 1/4. And that's it. Okay. Now, this is going to be a pocket. Nice big pocket. This is going to be the flap that covers it, but it's also going to be part of the piece. You're going to have some stuff on this side, okay? That's what we're going to be using the rest of that piece of 12 by 12 for. All right, so we're going to need mats for this, 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 this. So let's do some measuring, shall we? We know that this is 8 inches, so that's 7 3/4. I have a pencil here someplace. I know I do. 7 3/4 by 3. This one is 3 1/4, 3 3/4, so 3 1/2 by 7 3/4. That's 2 pieces that size. And then the back piece back here should be 4 inches, and it is. So 3 3/4 by 7 3/4. And I'm going to cut one of those. Now, if I want to add a strip in here just for looks, I can do that. It's not a problem. But you don't need to cut it the whole 4 inches. You could cut it like 2 inches. It could be 2 by 7 3/4, okay? So those are your pieces. You're going to cut a single piece that is, all pieces are going to be 7 3/4 inches tall. So you're going to cut a piece that is 3 inches wide, one that's 2 pieces that are 3 1/2 inches wide, one that is 3 3/4 inches wide, and then one that is 2 inches wide. So we're going to go do that, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about, you know, inking and all that other stuff. I'll be right back. All right, so we are going to make one more cut, and that's on our strip. Well, it's 2 cuts, but we're going to go like 3 and like the first line after the 3. We're going to make 2 of those. And then we are going to use our scissors, and from the fold line to the open part, we're going to just nip a little bit. We're just wedging a little bit off, kind of giving it that weird shape, okay? So at this point, you should have your pieces cut. All right, so I have one piece that's going to go in here. I have one piece that's going to go out here. And then, wrong one. This one's going to go out here. This one is going to go in here. And then I'm going to put the fire pit right in here. And then this is going to be my piece here. Okay, so I have all of my pieces cut, and the one we're going to talk about is this one right here. Okay, if you have an envelope punch board or a mini punch board, or you have the 3-2-1 board, get it out. Okay, I'm going to give you a minute to do that. We'll be right back. All right. If you do not have the envelope punch board or the 3-2-1 board or the box board, that's okay, because you can do it with just a round punch. All right. So let me show you on the 3-2-1 how we're going to do this first. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to line up the end here at about 2.5 inches. It's a nice size width, 2 1/4, whatever you choose. I'm going to poke a hole, then I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to put it the same distance on the other side, and I'm going to punch. So I have 2 dips. Okay, so let me show you how you can do the same thing with a circle. You just come in and do half a circle, half a circle. You end up with 2 dips, okay? So now we're done with this. We don't need this anymore. What we do want, if you have this style, is one of these plunging cutters. And we're going to put this in so that the bottom of the dip is right on the groove, okay? And then we're going to come in, we're going to plunge down, and we're going to go until there's no resistance. That is going to take that center piece out for us. Okay? Now, when we put this in, you're going to see that it's going to overlap it. It's okay. Move it up right to where it's supposed to be. And you can do this at the same time. If you want to do both pieces at the same time, you can. I just like to do it by hand. So I'm just going to cut that part out. Okay? Let me get my little scissors. And I'm just going to cut this part out. Okay, now I can mat that on there and have my nice little even distance, okay? And if I need to open this up a little bit, I can. Just taking an even amount off of both sides. There we go. Perfect. All right, so we'll pick that up in a minute. All right, so moving forward, what we're going to do here is we're going to ink. We're going to round some corners. We're going to get started. So let me get out the corner rounder and let's talk about the corners that we're going to round. We are going to round this corner, this corner, this corner, this one, and then these up here. Okay. Seriously. All right. So here, 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 here. Ink. You're going to ink all the way around, all the way around, all the way around. Ink this line and ink all of this. Okay? You're going to put your tape on these right up here by the edge. Ink this. And then we'll be back. I'll see you guys in a few minutes. All right, so we rounded all the corners and we put the paper on, and I decided to make mine open this way. So my pocket is on the right. Doesn't matter which direction your pocket is, really doesn't. And we're going to be doing this. I did add the paper in there just because I liked that backed look. So we're going to be doing this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to test fit this to make sure that it doesn't stick out. And, you know, if it does, I'm just going to trim a little bit more off. No big deal. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and get started putting these in. Now I've gone over it with my bone folder already. So at this point, all I'm going to do is pull my flag out. There's my little flag. I'm going to add my glue. Els, why don't you just glue the whole thing in? Well, the reason I don't glue the whole thing in is, you know, with tape, is because if I put the tape in there all the way, what ends up happening is tape doesn't dry. So, one, it can pull apart easier, but two, it can catch on whatever I put in the pocket, and I don't want to tear things up. So I'm going to do that side and this side, and then I'll do the whole close. So again, I'm just going to go ahead and pull my little flag here. I'm going to make sure that I get this right on the edge. Take that out. Use my bone folder to press it down. And then I'm just going to do the top piece and then fold this up. Okay? So, next time we are going to do the other pocket. The other style pocket, because it's going to be like a pad pocket. So we're going to show you that two ways. How to do a notebook or a pad. I'm going to show you how to do that two different ways. And then the final video on this one, we're going to talk about the actual cover and what you're going to need for that. So this is going to be a 3-part series. That's not bad. Okay, so we have our two pieces. This is the first one that we made that has the two pockets, one here and one here. And this is the second one we did that just has the big pocket here. And you could put another pocket on this if you want to. I don't. I just want to keep this as a big pocket for putting receipts and things in. So I have two pieces done. And the next lesson we're going to be doing, I'm going to show you how to do 2 more of these. You really only put 3 in the book, but some people like to have a pad that goes this way, and some people want to have a notebook. So I'm going to show you how to do both of them. Let's see. That's it, guys. I appreciate you coming in and doing this free class. If you have any suggestions or ideas for other free classes, feel free to let me know. If you have any questions, put those in the description box below, or reach out to me at beamiscraftycorner@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. But that's it. Listen, hey, if you're new here and you haven't done so already, go and hit that button for me and subscribe, like me, ring my bell, share me with all your friends, and then your friends can be my friends can be your friends, and our friends can get to be friends. And before you know it, we have a giant crafting community. I do go live on Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays. I post videos on Mondays and Wednesdays, and I have 2 things going on in 2022, one of which are these free classes. If you want to know more about them, make sure that when you ring that bell, you hit the all notifications, and that way you get notified as soon as these classes get downloaded. And the other thing I have is my 12 of 22 journal challenge. So if you would like to participate in that, the best way to get information is to go to the description box below and follow the link over to the slideshow that'll give you all the information that you need to have. You do not need to catch up. You don't have to make all 12 journals. But that's it. That's all I have for you. Remember, all of your dimensions are in the description box below. Till the next time, guys, stay well. Bye-bye.